Breaking news, according to Jose Benavidez Sr., former ESPN journalist Bernardo is claiming that PBC sources told him they offered Canelo Alvarez $60 million plus pay-per-view to fight David Benavidez. However, because Canelo turned down the offer, now David Benavidez is looking to move up to 175 in order to fight Alexander. David Benavidez is basically saying that he's not going to pause his career in order to wait for a Canelo Alvarez fight. However, don't get it twisted. From my understanding, David Benavidez is going to move back down to 168. This is not permanent that David Benavidez is going to move up to 175. This is a one-off for the moment in time in order to position himself at 175, since Canelo Alvarez is playing politics at 168. It almost sounds like Canelo Alvarez is running for office. I'm talking about at the WBC office, at the WBC Convention Center. I wouldn't be surprised if Canelo is already secretly behind closed doors the WBC president, since it makes no logical sense how David Benavidez has been Canelo Alvarez mandatory this entire time, and the WBC never ordered Canelo Alvarez to fight Benavidez. The mandatory position has been 3 years long overdue. Meanwhile, Canelo is still the WBC champion. He has not been stripped, even though Canelo turned down more than 5 offers to fight David Benavidez already, and David Benavidez already fought in more than 4 title eliminators in order to fight Canelo against the likes of Andrade, Caleb Plant, so on and so forth. Nevertheless, Canelo Alvarez trainer Eddie Reynoso came out defending Canelo Alvarez for avoiding the David Benavidez fight by stating that they never received any offer to fight David Benavidez, more specifically the $55 million guaranteed. Clearly somebody is lying. But one thing about the truth, 3 things that could never be hitting are the sun, the moon, and the truth. They will always come out. So Canelo trainer Eddie Reynoso could say this. However, the truth will come out eventually. Eddie Reynoso said that he's surprised David Benavidez promoter Samson didn't say that they turned down $100 million or $200 million. Then he followed up by saying it's distasteful that fans say Benavidez is getting ducked by Canelo. Canelo is afraid because Canelo fought Floyd Mayweather, Miguel Cotto, Gennady Golovkin. He's not afraid to fight anybody. The funny thing about that, David Benavidez fights nothing like Floyd. He's not a boxer or a counterpuncher. He's not 15 pounds smaller than Canelo. If anything, he's bigger than Canelo. He has power at the weight, speed. He's an aggressive fighter, so on and so forth. So it's a completely different style. That's first of all. Second of all, David Benavidez is not 36 years old like Floyd, nor is he the face of boxing to where it's a win-win situation. Canelo Alvarez's biggest accomplishment, Canelo Alvarez's biggest thing that he's famously known for today is losing to Floyd Mayweather. That's right, Canelo Alvarez is famously known for losing, a loss that he never avenged, not to Floyd Mayweather nor Bivol. In fact, Canelo Alvarez turned down the rematch at 175 and at 168 against Bivol. He also doesn't want to fight the Mexican monster David Benavidez, even though all of the Mexican legends from Chavez Sr., Barrera Morales, Marquez, Oscar De La Hoya, and other champions like Bernard Hopkins, Floyd Mayweather, Mike Tyson, all asking Canelo Alvarez to fight the Mexican monster David Benavidez. Therefore, you can't compare David Benavidez to anybody else Canelo Alvarez fought, especially not to Floyd Mayweather, who is a boxer that's way older than a David Benavidez. Floyd was 36 when he fought Canelo. David Benavidez is 26. He's 10 years younger than Floyd. Floyd had to move up a division. David Benavidez has the size over Canelo Alvarez. So Canelo is going to know how Floyd Mayweather felt fighting him because Canelo had the size advantage on Floyd. He was 15 to 20 pounds naturally bigger than Floyd. And that's what Canelo is going to experience fighting David Benavidez. We all know David Benavidez is not going to go in the ring against Canelo trying to win a unanimous decision. Absolutely not. David Benavidez is going to go in the ring against Canelo trying to knock him out. Canelo probably will not be the same after the David Benavidez fight. So it's a completely different style than the Floyd Mayweather fight. Gennady Golovkin was also old. He's not 26 like David Benavidez in his prime. On top of that, Gennady Golovkin doesn't have the hand speed nor the size that David Benavidez have. David Benavidez has the size advantage, the strength advantage. He has IQ, he has hand speed, he's awkward, he goes to the body. So David Benavidez is going to be able to match Canelo Alvarez in a lot of these departments. Better yet, he's going to top Canelo in some of these departments. And that's why Canelo doesn't want to fight him. So to compare apples to oranges, comparing David Benavidez to a Miguel Cotto, a Floyd Mayweather, a Gennady Golovkin, it's not the same. Stylistically, it's not the same. Statistically, it's not the same. And what's on the table is not the same. Canelo Alvarez claims he's the boss. He can do whatever he wants to do. He can fight whoever he wants to fight. And what he wants to do is fight for the money. Well, ironically, the biggest bag available is for Canelo to fight David Benavidez. Up to $60 million guaranteed plus pay-per-view. And what Canelo Alvarez decided to do? He decided to turn down the biggest offer he has on the table to fight David Benavidez in order to take a pay cut to fight Jaime Munguia, who's with DAZN, not PBC, and works with Oscar De La Hoya, Canelo Alvarez's #1 enemy. Canelo is only being offered his minimum of $35 million to fight Jaime Munguia, or for him to take less than his minimum of $35 million that he was going to get to fight Munguia, a Mexican fighter, in order to fight Jamal Charlo. Canelo has to take a huge pay cut, less than his minimum. Let that sink in. When he can make double that, I'm talking about just the guarantee money, and triple or quadruple that after the pay-per-view to fight David Benavidez. However, Canelo Alvarez is choosing to continue avoiding David Benavidez. You know, the irony of it all is that Canelo Alvarez fans always love comparing Canelo to Floyd by claiming Canelo is only doing what Floyd Mayweather used to do. Floyd Mayweather used to fight whoever he wants to fight, so Canelo is fighting whoever he wants to fight since he's the boss. Well, the major difference is that they're not pointing out is that Floyd Mayweather, with his position, he chose to fight the best. When Floyd Mayweather was 36 years old, he fought the Mexican monster of his time, Canelo Alvarez. He had to move up in weight in order to fight the younger, stronger Canelo Alvarez, who's much bigger than him, 15 to 20 pounds, naturally bigger than Floyd. Floyd Mayweather ended up fighting Canelo when Canelo was 43-0 and a unified champ. Therefore, to all of the fans that love comparing Floyd to Canelo, go ahead and let us know, when is Canelo Alvarez going to start doing what Floyd Mayweather used to do? When is Canelo going to fight the Mexican monster of his division? He don't even have to move up a division. Canelo and Benavidez fight in the same division. Canelo is undisputed at 168. So when is Canelo going to do what Floyd Mayweather did and fight the Mexican monster of his time, David Benavidez? When is Canelo going to stop making excuses and start making things happen? Canelo and Benavidez are on the same network, PBC. Canelo said he's the boss. You guys say he's the boss. He can fight whoever he wants to. Canelo can choose to fight whoever he wants to. So when is Canelo going to choose to fight David Benavidez? We all know he's the boss. He can make whatever fight come to fruition. All he has to do is send an offer. However, Eddie Reynoso want to convince the fans that Canelo all of a sudden is the B-side, and he's waiting for PBC to send him an offer, as if Canelo is not the A-side where he can demand to fight whoever he wants to fight. To debunk Eddie Reynoso's excuses even worse, PBC already came out revealing that they did offer Canelo Alvarez multiple offers to fight David Benavidez. And Canelo Alvarez didn't just turn them down. He didn't even want to entertain the offers. He didn't even want to negotiate. That's how bad Canelo doesn't want to fight David Benavidez. I mean, just think about it. It's common sense. PBC has both Canelo and Benavidez This is arguably the biggest fight in boxing, so why wouldn't PBC want to host the biggest fight in boxing in-house? That's a no-brainer. But Eddie Reynoso want to convince the public that PBC didn't even offer Canelo the fight, even though Benavidez is PBC fighter. What sense does that make? We all know PBC revealed that they offered Canelo Alvarez $55 million guarantee plus pay-per-view to fight David Benavidez for years now. Not just right now. I'm talking about even before Canelo lost to Bivol. The offer was on the table. However, Canelo turned that down. These are facts that's not up for debate. We all know it takes two to rumble. And Canelo clearly doesn't want to rumble with David Benavidez. Even Eddie Reynoso came out telling on himself, all you got to do is read between the lines. Eddie Reynoso said, Canelo is at the end of his career, so we got to be careful who we match him up against. Like, wait a minute. This is coming from Canelo matchmaker Eddie Reynoso. He's not even on the same page with Canelo because Canelo said the contrary to that. Canelo said, I'm in my prime. Nobody could beat this version of Canelo. I'm going to continue fighting for the next 5 years. This is what Canelo said recently. So which one is it? The fact that Eddie Reynoso told on himself and said, we got to carefully match Canelo because he's at the end of his career, tells you everything you need to know. Clearly, Eddie Reynoso and Canelo don't believe they are the best at 168, let alone in the world. Because if they did, then they would have had fought David Benavidez, the best fighter at 168 in a heartbeat for the biggest bag available, or David Morrell. However, clearly, Canelo doesn't want to fight the best since he doesn't believe he is the best. There is no logical explanation to why Canelo will turn down the biggest fight in boxing against David Benavidez to fight a Jaime Munguia or a mentally ill Jamal Charlo for a pay cut of less than $35 million flat when he can make up to $60 million guarantee plus pay-per-view to fight David Benavidez. By far Canelo Alvarez's biggest payday of his career. We talking about if this fight sells over $1 million on pay-per-view, Canelo can walk away with over $100 million. So, what do you call that? Duck, duck, goose? This puts a stain on Canelo Alvarez's legacy and career, like Eddie Reynoso revealed. They have to carefully select Canelo next coming opponents, which they have been doing that during Canelo Alvarez's entire career, is carefully select every single opponent. 99% of Canelo Alvarez's opponents have been cherry picks. And the few that wasn't, Canelo either lost or ended up robbing his opponents. That's a fact that's not up for debate. With the facts being laid out, drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe below. And to be continued on the next episode of Akhi TV. Peace out. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
So they had a 2-fight deal with Bivol and Golovkin. It equaled up to what, 80 or 85 million dollars.
Okay.
With me, he had a 2-fight deal with Charlo and me. I think the one with Charlo was 45 million. The one with me was 55 million, and those were both plus pay-per-view. 55 million plus 45 million plus pay-per-view.
And pay-per-view?
They say I would bring nothing to the table, that I'm looking for a payday, this and that. At the end of the day, that motherfucker's the one making more money than anybody. So he's really the one getting the payday. Right. You know, he says I don't bring nothing to the table. $55 million is nothing? Is that nothing? So if that's nothing, why doesn't he just fight these championship fights for free? You know what I mean? It's just like they want to say everything that I haven't earned a shot, I haven't this and that. But bro, I'm the number one WBC, the number one ranked WBC, 2-time world champion. I've done what I've done, and I'm here for a reason. I'm still undefeated. Me and him would be a very lucrative fight because I'm